I want to share with you 12 essential equipment that you're going to need to get started with music production. Even if you have limited budget or very low budget, I want you to watch this video to the end because I'm going to be sharing with you alternative options for getting this essential equipment so that you can get started. No matter your budget, get started with music production. Shalom to you, my friends. My name is Isaac from Trego Studios Academy, and I have a passion to train media volunteers so now they can become well equipped as they serve God through the media. And particularly today, I'm talking about music production. Alright, so here are 12 essential equipment that you're going to need to get started with your music production. Number one is a good computer. And when I say good computer, the kind of computer spec that you need to get started with music production includes at least an 8GB RAM computer. If you can afford a 16GB RAM, that's also better. A 2.40 GHz clock speed. It may be a Core i5 or Core i7, even Core i9, that's good. You don't necessarily need a computer with a graphics card, but that might also be helpful. And you also need a computer with good storage because music production files take a lot of storage. And it would be good if you can get a computer with SSD drives, alright, solid state drives, because that's going to help your production to be faster, alright. The number two equipment that you need is a DAW, D-A-W, that is Digital Audio Workstation. This is the software that will be installed on your computer for you to perform your music production activity. Without the digital audio workstation, there is no music production. That is the basis. It's the basis. That's why the computer is the first thing. And once you get a computer, the first thing that must be installed on that computer for you to get started with music production is your DAW, D-A-W, your digital audio workstation. That's the interface between you and your computer. So you need that. It's very, very important. The third thing that you need to get started with music production is a microphone. Why do you need a microphone? You need it especially if you are going to be recording vocals or even recording live instruments like the guitar, or you want to record a drum set, a live drum set, or any other equipment you wish to record. If you know you will be needing to record something live, especially the voice, you need a microphone. Now it's good if you can get a microphone that can serve multiple purposes. That is, it's good for voices and it's good also for instruments, so you won't have to buy multiple microphones. Eventually in the long run you have to buy it, but essentially you need a good microphone, and preferably a condenser microphone, studio microphone, just like this. The fourth thing you are going to be needing is an audio interface. So you need the audio interface to bridge the gap between your microphone or any other external recording device that you're using and your digital audio workstation. So in order to get the voice from this microphone into your digital audio workstation, you need an audio interface. So on the audio interface, you can control the volume of the microphone, and that is also where you get to power microphones like this, the condenser microphone. They need a phantom power. So from the audio interface, you can power your microphone, and it can also take a jack input from your keyboard or any other external instruments that you're actually recording. Alright, so that's why you need the audio interface to bridge the gap between your physical recording devices and your digital audio workstation, which is a software installed on the computer. The fifth device that you're going to be needing is the MIDI controller. Alright, by MIDI controller, this could be a MIDI keyboard, it could be a MIDI drum pad. Essentially, you need a MIDI controller to be able to interact with a digital audio workstation. For instance, if you want to play digital instruments on the digital audio workstation, so you need a MIDI keyboard. If you want to program a drum and you don't want to play live drum, you need a drum pad. That's also a MIDI controller for you to program drums, and it's going to help your work to be easier. Playing MIDI keyboards, any kind of MIDI controller that is essential to help you to interact with your digital audio workstation. Now that's going to aid the smooth running of your music production. The sixth equipment that you're going to need for music production is the studio monitor or your studio headphones. Now you need to be able to hear what you're mixing, what you're recording, what you're producing. For you to make good judgment, you need studio monitors, not just any kind of speakers. By monitors we mean speakers, but you don't just need any kind of speakers or any kind of headphones. There are speakers and headphones that are specifically built for the purpose of music production, and those are what we call the studio monitors or the studio headphones. So you can actually choose to buy either of the two or both. That is, you can either buy a studio headphone or a studio monitor, or buy both. It's good to get both for reference purposes. There are actually pros and cons to each of these things, which are beyond the scope of this video. I'm not going to be sharing them in this video. In later videos, I'm going to be sharing it with you. But it's a good thing if you have the tool, so you do not have to limit yourself to one of the device in times when you will need the other. Now, the seventh equipment or resource that you're going to be needing for your music production are cables. You need cables to connect your microphone to your audio interface. You need a cable to connect your audio interface into your computer. You need a cable to connect your MIDI controller to your audio interface or directly into your computer. You need cables to run your studio monitors to your audio interface. Different kind of cables are needed for connection, because most of these equipment need wires to bridge the gap between them and the hardware or the software that they are relating with. That is why it is essential to buy correct cables, the right cables that you need. Most times you need XLR cables for microphones like this, or you use instrument cables for keyboards or any other instruments that might be using the jack cable. Alright, so you need cables. Those are very essential. Now, the 8th essential equipment that you need is acoustic treatment. You need acoustic treatment for the studio where you're going to be recording and mixing your songs. You need acoustic treatment in the sound booth where you're going to be recording the vocals or recording any instrument. You need acoustic treatment even in the studio where you're going to be mixing. Alright, acoustic treatments such as acoustic panels or bass traps. You need this acoustic treatment so that you can deal with issues like reflection and echoes that comes up in the room where you are recording. So the acoustic treatment you need for each room varies depending on the size of the room, the surfaces of the materials used in building, because hard surfaces like walls and wood, they reflect sound, and so you need to deal with those kind of reflections to help you have a good production. That is very essential, acoustic treatment. The 9th essential equipment that you need is external storage. Now, music production takes a lot of space, especially as your work begins to pile up and you do more and more work. The space in your computer is not going to be sufficient for handling bigger projects or handling more projects, so you need to get an external drive for you to be storing your files, your recorded files. There are times you would have done projects that you would want to revisit, so instead of deleting those projects as soon as you make your first release or something, you can actually go back to those projects when they are stored in a safe place on your external hard drive. Alright, having a good external hard drive sufficient for handling space is very essential in your music production journey. Now, the 10th essential equipment you need for music production is actually instruments. So when we're talking about music production, you can't talk of musical production without musical instruments. Alright, so either it's a keyboard or a guitar, depending on the genre of your song, you need a particular instrument to help you to aid the music. Alright, so that is also essential in your music production, so make sure you get the right musical instruments that will fit the kind of production that you want to do. Now, the 11th essential equipment that you are going to be needing for music production are virtual instruments or virtual plugins. What virtual instruments means is musical instruments that are actually played on the computer. Alright, so these are in forms of plugins. You will need to buy good virtual instruments that will sound as real as though you are actually playing the real instrument. There are virtual drums, there are virtual keyboards, there are virtual guitars. There are many virtual equipments that you can purchase that will help you to have a good production. Many of the music you listen to today, many of them are recorded with virtual instruments, and you can't even tell the difference except you're an audiophile. Even if you're an audiophile, you might not be able to distinctly tell the difference if this was a live instrument or this is actually a virtual instrument. So you need it, it's very essential. And plugins like compressors, like limiters, like EQs, you do not necessarily have to have those physical hardwares. Again, with the emergence of the technology of digital audio workstations, all of those things are available now on the computer as virtual instruments or virtual equipment. They are called plugins, and you will need them for your music production journey. The 12th, which is the last essential equipment that you will be needing for music production, is shock mount and pop filter. This is a shock mount. The pop filter, that kind of lens that is always in front to help you get rid of plosives. The shock mount will help you hold your condenser microphone properly in place, and the pop filter is going to help you get rid of plosives that can come while recording your song through the P's and the B's. Alright, so the pop filter helps you to filter out those plosive sounds. If you have these 12 essential equipment, you are ready to get started with music production. I mean, you have everything it takes to get started with music production. There is nothing stopping you again. So what are you waiting for? Get started with music production. If you don't know how to get started, that is why I'm here. I'm going to be hosting a 5-day workshop training people on how to get started with music production. 5 days, 2 hours each day for 5 days in December. I'm going to be hosting that workshop on Zoom. The cost of the workshop is just 20,000 naira. So if you want more information about that workshop, how you can register and how you can pay, you can click the link in the description of this video, or just click the button that is attached to this video below so that you can learn more and get more information about the training. Now, for those of you who have very limited budgets, that is, you're thinking all of these things cost a lot of money, where do I get money to get these things started? What if I do not have sufficient budget, or you don't even have money at all? At least you have something. You would have something, no matter how little. You have something. I still want to tell you that it is possible to get started. If it is about getting started, you can get started with as little as no money with music production. I'm going to tell you how that's possible.